Guys, Harshit is another one of our star admitted students, Wharton Admit. Harshit, why don't you quickly tell us your journey? And not only Wharton, I'm mainly going to ask you about your fabulous GMAT score. So why don't you tell and by the way, the audience that you're addressing, Harshit, are all college students, recent grads, someone that I think people who you can, I think, identify yourself with very clearly. So please, why don't you talk us through that process? What got you into? Why did you choose a deferred program? And then I'll ask you nuts and bolts about your GMAT. Please introduce yourself.
Sure. So just a quick introduction before I, begin with everything about the GMAT. So I recently graduated from SRCC. I'll be working at BCG for the next 2 to 3 years. And just recently, I think it's been about a month right now when I heard back from Wharton that I got through their Moelis Advanced Access program, which is their Deferred MBA program. And I feel that one of the biggest reasons why that was possible was because of my GMAT score. And a lot of that credit goes to, of course, top 1% here. So a little about my GMAT journey. I actually started my GMAT journey in my third year. When I was done with college exams and I was done with my placements, I had a solid 6 months towards the end. And I thought, let's make some good use of this. And I feel that one thing that worked for me throughout my journey was taking the right decisions at the right points of time. So even though I was a little late, even in my third year starting just in Jan for my April cycle, but I still started at that point of time. With top 1%, I prepared for 2 months, and it was a very intensive prep that I did. And after that, I kept 1.5 months for my 3 applications. I only applied to 3 schools. So I think making these correct trade-offs at the correct points of time, this was something that was very, fruitful for me. And for anyone who is in college right now, this is going to be my biggest recommendation as well, that if you have time right now, if you want to take the GMAT somewhere down the line, take it in your college, because there's no other time that you can take it, probably giving this much effort into it. And also because you'll be missing out on a lot of good opportunities. You can apply to masters as well. You can apply for deferred MBA programs as well. If you don't do that right now, you'll have to wait for 4 to 5 years down the line to apply at least for an MBA abroad. So that is one thing that I learned. Talking specifically about how my GMAT journey unfolded, I decided that I wanted to take the GMAT and I joined top 1%. That was the first thing that I did. I didn't try to prepare on my own or I didn't even follow the OG at all. I didn't even solve a single question from the OG. I only followed the resources given from top 1%. And what I realized was that if you take just one resource and you do it properly and you do it intensively, then that's going to work out for you. So I did the learning portion of things for a month, then started practice for around 15, 16 days, and then started giving mocks. And then I went and gave my GMAT. Excellent. So this is how I structured my prep.
And why don't you tell us your fabulous score? I think many people here are uninitiated. They don't know much about the GMAT. So why don't you tell us your score and how coveted it is, how few students get it? Just briefly tell us about that.
Sure, sir. So I got a 780, which is in the 99th percentile. I had a V47, which is again in the 99th percentile, and Q51, which is in the 97th percentile, but that's the highest that you can get.
So let me tell you guys, Harshit is being very humble, so he might not give you the when he says 99th percentile, it might be hard for you to truly appreciate how amazing the score is. I think GMAT is written by around 3 lakh students, I think around that number nowadays. The kind of score that Harshit has brought in, especially in verbal with that 47, I reckon less than, I would say, 300 people in the whole world get it every year. And I think I'm giving a pretty high estimate there. So on the whole of India, there'll probably be 5 or 10 students who will have got that in the whole year. At his age, probably he'll be the only one. So that is how coveted this score is. So phenomenal job. Congratulations on it. We're super proud about you. Can you please tell us some specifics of the course which helped you? It's great that you said you did it in a very short period of time with very kind of focused, committed prep. Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about the techniques and strategies and Sandeep's personal mentoring and how that helped you?
Right, sir. So as I said, I gave 1 month to just the coursework, and my weightage in terms of proportion was more on the learning side of things than the implementation of it. Because I used to, if there's one video that you were supposed to do for your coursework and there's let's say one PDF for pre-work, I used to spend an entire day on that. And once I was done with the video as well, I used to go back, note down things that I felt were important. And I followed everything in the particular religious order that was prescribed for the coursework at least. And although I could have rushed through the coursework, I felt that even though I had little time, giving coursework the amount of time that it deserved was a good decision because that helped me throughout. With respect to course specifics as well, sir, I think the biggest help that I got was in CR and SC. CR and SC as well, whatever techniques were taught, I followed them exactly. I didn't look anywhere else. I started practicing I practiced also only from 2 particular PDFs because I had little time, and I followed the 700, 800 PDFs after I was done with my prep. for my coursework, and then I did those PDFs for around 2 weeks. So my score for CR and SC was around a 60-70% accuracy in the beginning, and when I went and gave the exam, the last 3 mocks that I had given, my CR and SC accuracy was 100%, and my CR accuracy on the exam date was also 100%. So I think that was a very big improvement curve that I saw because of the resources that I followed.
I think your overall accuracy on the day of the test was, I think, 100%. I think you hardly would have missed 1 or 2 questions max across all 75, 80 of them that you did, I think. So I think that's a fabulous sort of success rate. Great. Thank you so much for your time. I just want to, before I just let you go, any tips on the admissions front? These are students, I think, who are still nascent in their journey. They haven't written the test. I think many of them haven't even started their prep. So while you don't have to worry about the nuts and bolts, but any suggestions that they could do from now? I know many of them are thinking of deferred MBAs, but beyond that, master's programs as well. I would love you to share your perspectives. What do you think worked for you in your applications that you would suggest, whether it's an internship, whether it's extracurriculars? Would be great to get some specific insights from you.
Right. So I think that my profile was not as such that I had one thing that was exceptionally good, but I had a bucket of things that were good. So my undergrad was from SRCC, which is a good institute. I had a good GPA, which was 9+. I had decent internships. And one thing that I had was a little bit of social entrepreneurship that I was involved in, which helped me build my profile. But what I would like, people who are here right now to understand is that it's not necessary that you need to have something which is either social or entrepreneurial in nature for you to make a cut. Even if you have something which is not very extraordinary, but you've done everything properly, you can carve out a story in the fashion that will appeal to the admissions committee as well. Excellent. So that is one roadblock that you have to, circumvent. And that's also a mental block that you can't think that you're not good enough for that, because I didn't feel that I was good enough for, getting through Wharton, because there are only 150 seats globally. But if you circumvent that barrier and then you put in your entire effort into shaping a profile with what you've got, then I think you have a good enough chance.
Excellent. Excellent. Harshit, that is really inspirational. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So I hope, just to repeat what he has said, anything is possible, guys, as long as you plan it properly, you put the ingredients in place. I think diligence is key. And then, when it comes to the GMAT or GRE, follow the strategy, follow the advice given. Great things can happen. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Harshit, for your time.
Thank you.
You can drop